kind of interesting. Do you know that esports are now bigger than physical sports? If you look at the video game market worldwide, like it's easier to play the video game than it is to go out into the real world and be a normal person. Okay? It's easier to
Okay.
play the video game than it is to start a business, right? And look, esports is the largest growing business in the world right now.
Mm.
Um, Now, I think it's crazy because it's not interesting for me. But from a business perspective, it's very interesting. If you work in technology, then esports is going to it's going to take over from the sports we know today. Like the Olympics will take over from the Olympics. It's already bigger. Esports is bigger than other sports right now. Just because,
Mm.
like, here's an example. One of the biggest or more people. Let's take which sport? Motor racing, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Motor racing. There's more people who compete in motor racing online than take part in the activity in the real world.
Yes.
There's more people who do that, and it's easier and it's cheaper. In fact, it doesn't cost anything. You just log on to the internet and you play the game on the internet.
Mm.
And um, it's big, and anybody anywhere can do it, and that's what makes it popular amongst people. And it will grow and it will become bigger, and it's probably not very good for society, basically, because
Mm.
the real world is it's out there somewhere. It's not.
Mm.
It's not in here. The internet is a good place to get your data and to get your information, but you don't want to live there.
Mm.
We have to be careful how much time we spend with the digital activities.
Mm.
We have to be careful that it doesn't consume us. It's the very old question of, do you own the products or do the products own you? Yeah, it's do you own things or do the things own you? Are you in control of the product or is the product in control
Mm.
of you and what you do? And a great way to understand this, I think, is with cars, because everyone likes to think I own the car. But if you think about the maintenance and the expenses and the just the constant rising costs
Mm-hmm.
with it, the little bits and pieces, and then the time that it takes, and then you have to take the car to the garage and you have to get it serviced and you have to get the parts fixed. It begins to consume a lot of time, and it a lot of it. That's why I think it's never good to buy a car. It's always good to lease a car
Mm-hmm.
and let somebody else take care of the problems, if that's possible, because
Mm-hmm.
it just takes up more and more time and more resources. Um, I think that in the future there will be no private cars. I think all cars will be company cars in the future. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the only way to go. Um, I like the idea of private cars. I like the idea of private car ownership. I like the idea of freedom of choice. I just think it actually gives people more freedom when they have less possessions.
Mm-hmm.
But then people like their time with their cars. They develop relationships with their cars. They give their cars names. The car becomes a best friend. They spend more time with their cars than they do with their partners.
Mm.
Sometimes it's very interesting. Have you seen how the front of a car is now designed like a face?
Mm.
Every
Two
front of
eyes.
every front of a car is designed like a human face. This psychologically appeals to our personality instincts that we have within ourselves.
Mm.
That's why we're attracted to them. We like the smile on the front of the, or there's some that are really aggressive, yeah. So the front of the car is they have this big grill, like big teeth on the front of it. It's very aggressive, and
So every time the car is a part of family. Yes.
it is. It's your first car is like your first boyfriend or girlfriend or something, right? You develop this
Mm.
very strong connection and relationship with it, and it's important because it gives you freedom. That's what the
Mm.
car gives you. It gives you the opportunity to travel, the opportunity to meet people, to go distances,
Mm-hmm.
to find work, to find clients. It opens up so many doors of opportunity to find new relationships, to find new partners. Um, yeah, people forget about these little parts of history, which were that your life was very much dependent upon your relationships, and your relationships in the past were dependent upon where you lived,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it.
Yeah.
If you lived, if you
Nowadays.
li-
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, you if you lived in a village, then
And
you probably married somebody from that village and stayed there, probably. Um, and unless there was some big change, or you decided to go somewhere new, or there were job opportunities somewhere, or whatever happened. But most people didn't make big moves, and there were times when things were different, and um, people forget that people would get married. There's a place like Slovakia, right? People would get married there like 200 years ago. And then the husband would go to America for 10 years and work and maybe come back and maybe have some money. People forget about that. People forget. I was reading, oh my gosh, who was it? It wasn't the notes of Thomas Jefferson. It wasn't Benjamin Franklin. It was one of the early American presidents. I can't remember which one. And he was talking about traveling from Europe to America. Did I talk
mm-hmm.
about this before? Did I tell you about this
No,
before?
no,
I can't
no.
remember. Okay, so um, and sometimes and they had to travel by ship, right? And it took 3 weeks. And not only did it take 3 weeks to travel by ship, sometimes it took 2 weeks to get the right wind for the ship to leave.
Mm-hmm.
They had to wait 2 weeks. So they would go onto the ship and they would wait on the ship for 2 weeks for the right water and the right wind and the right conditions for the ship to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would still take 3 weeks to get somewhere. And that's not that long ago in human history.
But it's hard to imagine that
Oh, I
we
know.
we would exist such way.
I know. I know, especially when we live in this click and collect culture now,
Mm.
where it's like, oh, yeah, I want
Yes,
this. Click.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, did click for your holiday, click for your packages, click to call,
hmm
um, click for your dinner. I don't. It's
yes.
uh, it's it's wild,
Mm.
the simplicities that exist today that we never had opportunities for before, which is why I always say that there's no reason for anything not to work now.
Mm.
There's no reason. You can get you can get it all. You can have it all, right? That there's no reason for anything not. There's no reason for anybody to not know something.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason that we have failure is so that we can understand input. Failure just means the input was wrong. The information we put into the system was wrong. The information we put into our brain was wrong. That's all that failure means.
Mm-hmm.
And we can choose the information now, and there's such a wide variety of choices that we can make. It's absolutely unbelievable. Um, you're just going to a supermarket, and yes, maybe all the products in the supermarket come from 8 companies, but there's a hell of a lot of products. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of products. Yes, and maybe 90% of them are unhealthy. Yes. But you can still make the healthy option. You can still make the healthy choice.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's, the quality of decisions is something that really matters. And the point I wanted to make was that with the car,
Mm-hmm.
you could find a better partner, right? You could find a better client. You could find a better customer. You could find you had that ability. It was the same. The bicycle gave people freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Because woman could get on a bicycle and cycle to the next village and meet a better man, right? I mean, that was freedom for them.
On the way to the next village.
Well, maybe on the way to the next village, right? Life is not a straight road, okay? So there are many twists and turns, like the river as it goes down through the valleys. So yeah, the car gives us a lot of freedom. So the other point was that sport in the modern world is a little bit crazy. I was looking at some statistics. Here's one second. Here's some statistics from. Da, 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 da. It's interesting for people working in the digital environments because they will require support and equipment. There are currently 148 million esports enthusiasts in the world and 144 million occasional viewers. These people will be buying things like keyboards and controllers and microphones and speakers, headphones and headsets, and they'll be organizing tournaments and competitions, and they will require support for these things. The e-gaming platform Twitch, which is one of the biggest in the world, Twitch pulls in almost 10 million viewers every day on that e-gaming platform. Also, it is well known that if you are involved in music and you want your music to be a hit, the number one thing that you have to do is find a Twitch sponsor or gamer who is prepared to use your music in their videos.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is music in videos, computer games, live gaming, and even games is one of the biggest drivers in music sales. Yeah, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. Along with all the ridiculous things that you need to do with music, like write a song that lasts only 3 minutes and have a chorus within the first 30 seconds and use a certain frequency of sound and only have 3 instruments and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Keep it simple. Around 1 in 7 people are now aware of esports. The number of consumers worldwide that are aware of esports will surpass 1 billion this year, 36%. Up 36% on the previous year. Revenue. There's a lot of money in those little extra credits and characters and bits and pieces that people buy, even in the music. Like I was um, what was it, the Rock Band platform for the Xbox. I was looking at that yesterday. I was playing Beatles songs
Mm-hmm.
with my family through the Xbox. I told you that we do that
Yes.
before, and
Yes.
it's just a sort of fun family activity. And we get to feel like we are the Beatles. And of course, I can't play drums to save my life, but that's okay. Um, and so you get the initial disc and the package and everything, and you get like 30 or 40 Beatles songs. But you can get more, but it costs £2 to download each song.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see, and apparently I was reading yesterday that they had something like one of the extra songs on the Beatles package was, what was it? Um, All You Need Is Love,
Mm-hmm.
and they had something like 1 million downloads in the first month of that song,
Mm-hmm.
and each person was paying £2
Mm. Nice.
for that one song.
Mm.
But brilliant marketing. It's brilliant marketing and product placement, and it just you set up the system like a spider, right?
Mm.
You set up the web, like the World
Mm-hmm.
Wide Web. Okay, you set up the web to catch the flies,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's perfectly done. Very
Mm-hmm.
intelligent. Esports will generate revenues of almost $500 million. This is in 2016. It's much, much higher now because it's exponential growth,
Uh-huh.
up 7% from the initial projection. It's growing, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. Um, it just grows and grows. It's easier is not always better, but there were 112 major esports events in 2015. The total prize money reached 61 million, up 70% on the previous year. Um, Not only that, ticket sales for esports events are huge. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what a revenue, what a business.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 500 million in revenues doesn't include actual in-game sales. For example, League of Legends generated revenues of 1.6 billion in 2015 alone in 1 year. It currently has around 100 million players.
Mm.
You want to know where the kids are? That's where the kids are. Oh, and if you want to sell to your future customers, yeah, that's where they are. Um, isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? I just find I find it a little bit crazy. A few more stats. The most watched esports tournament final was that of the 2015 League of Legends World Championship. People watch that shit. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I always repeat myself, but it's really important. Don't watch the game to just watch the game, right? Like when I went to the football match, I didn't go to the football
Mm-hmm.
match
Oops.
to.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. You have a lovely ceiling. It's wonderful.
Just my phone. Oops.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so, so yeah, when I went to the football match, it wasn't to just go to the football match. It was to observe and study and understand and look at the social aspects of it and to to get a to raise my level of awareness, to have a new experience. And so if the kids are watching to learn something, it's very interesting to see because kids will learn kids will learn faster than adults. Adults will watch something or I will watch something and I will be very confused. But my
Mm-hmm.
kids will watch it and they will go like this.
Mm-hmm.
and understand everything very quickly. Like my kids are explaining to me what's happening in the video games, and like my son is explaining what's happening in the Rock Band game, and I'm just trying to hit the right notes. Yeah, and that's it's in he's getting like 100% and I'm getting like 50%, and so he's
Mm-hmm.
destroying me, and it's fun. But he understands it all, and I don't. What final statistics? Here's it's only going to get bigger. Final statistics for the esports activities. Um, it's only going to get bigger. Esports revenues are expected to reach 1.1 billion in 2019, with 250 million esports enthusiasts and 212 million occasional viewers set to emerge by that time. Um, and you know what's crazy? These people are very interested in what they do. They're very interested. And they're actually interested in quality. It's not just something that's,
You mean these 200 million people?
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're interested in the quality, just like people when they go to a football match. They're interested in the quality of the football. They don't want to watch
Mm-hmm.
people play bad football. They want to watch people play good football,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to watch quality games with people making quality actions with quality equipment. Yeah, they all of this all of this development of technology that people use in business. Well, it wasn't developed for business. It was developed for the kids playing the games. It just happens to benefit people in business. Like all of the streaming technology, it was developed for gamers. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
developed for businesses. It was developed for gamers. All of this, like these headsets, for example, wasn't developed
Mm-hmm.
for businesses. Excuse my language. Sorry. But businesses are not even using this shit. There's free there's free international connection through Skype to anybody anywhere to talk to anyone about anything at all, and businesses are not using it because they're too busy living in their little tunnel vision
Mm-hmm.
world.
Yes, but it's true. Yes, it's true. Yes.
I saw this when I was in Finland in the summer, and I met a number of different businesses, and I wanted to see if it was possible to set up a coaching business in Finland, and I talked to different clients and I talked to different companies. And what I met was people who were too busy to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy. They were too busy to develop. They were too busy to change. They were too busy to grow. They were so busy in the day-to-day everything that they didn't have a vision for the future at all. And that's okay because you need to focus on something. But if a business is going to grow, it does require a vision of a different kind of future. And a lot of your different kind of future requires connecting with different kinds of people,
Mm-hmm.
with new people in new areas. All businesses understand, yeah, we need new clients, and yes, but the world's a big place and lots of people doing lots of different things, and um, yeah, there's people whose business, their complete business, is installing audio on boats. It's a big business. Getting the right sound on a boat is difficult. It's very difficult. And so installing audio on boats is a mass. And if you're in a country like, because you maybe you know this because your business or your industry. I don't know, but if you're in Slovakia, you don't think about boats very much.
Mm-hmm. It's
But you go
true.
to Finland, where like there are more boats than cars, and
Mm-hmm.
people want good audio on their boats, or at least a large number. There'll be people who don't care, right? But people want
Mm-hmm.
quality, and people with money for good boats have money for good audio on
Of
their
course.
boats. Yeah,
Yes.
people who, and there are people who want quality, right? People who want quality will always want something good, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge market. It's a huge market. So it might be at some points a high-end market, specialized business market, but it's very interesting, I think. So the the, the future is in non-traditional thought. The future businesses will be the businesses with non-traditional ideas,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the technical area. As society becomes more technical and more technically orientated, as the microchips become smaller, as we
Mm-hmm.
as we lose the headset and put the microchip inside our ear,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not I don't really think that's a good thing, but what I think is not important, right? Like I think that e-gaming is maybe not a good thing, but what I think is not important because there's there's a billion people
200
out there.
yes.
Yeah.
200 other million other people, they're
Yeah,
thinking
yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
else. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, absolutely. Yeah. There must also be an industry for example, good audio at football games and at railway stations,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because how they can't get good audio at railway stations, I have no idea. But I don't.
Okay.
And then they give it in three languages, and you don't even understand your own language, right?
Yes, yes, it's right. Yes, it's true.
uh, the, the madness, the madness.
Mm-hmm.
It's complete madness. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there.
Yes,
Okay.